Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Us, a show dedicated to bringing real help to real couples. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, guys? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and together we are high-performance marriage coaches.
We are cutting through the bullcrap and creating a movement of happy, healthy, badass couples all over the world.
Let's go! What's up, guys? My name is Seth. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. My wife, Melanie. This is the podcast Anatomy of Us. We have over 500 episodes, tons of interviews. So if your first time listening to the show, welcome. Thank you so much.
We're glad you're here.
Our goal is to help you and your marriage. And I have a philosophy that when I am good as an individual, guess what? I bring my A game to Melanie, to our marriage, and to our family. Same thing when she does that with me. All things are awesome. So get right to have a good marriage. Thank you and so much. So this is going to be a fun episode. Not an episode that I've ever heard on any podcast ever.
That's right.
Melanie, you want to drop the title in this episode?
Well, it's going to be something along the lines of, I always change it typically because I forget what I title things, but it's going to be something along the lines of marriage, breast implants, and breast explants.
Wow.
Because that's a journey we've been on recently.
What do those implants have to do with the marriage?
Well, so here's the funny thing. Here's the whole reason I want to do this. We're doing like 3 episodes about this. 2 of them I think are on Patreon. You can go get them at patreon.com/us
Anatomy of Us.
or something like that. What is the actual Patreon? We don't even know.
Patreon.com/anatomy of us.
All right. Okay. Well, hopefully that's right. Hopefully you can find it. But we're doing a series about it because anytime someone finds out that I had breast implants,
What?
they ask me a billion questions. Sometimes they also get really mad at me, which I find so odd. So we're going to talk about this. One of the episodes we're going to do is going to be answering listener questions. We've already collected some. I'm going to have you post on the social meds to get some more questions. Social meds. So that you can get questions directly from the dudes. We need dude questions because I'm sure that dudes have questions about this.
Okay.
But then also I'm sharing my whole journey on an episode I already recorded. Seth wasn't a part of it. Like every detail I could think of, like where the implants were placed, how the surgery was done, the type, like all the things. And it was gory, so I didn't want you to be involved because you get so faint. So fainty.
I do.
You get wafy if there's a needle near.
I get squeamish when things happen.
Not to be confused with squinamish.
That's not. No, not that. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
People out here do.
Well, yeah, maybe, but you said it wrong. Anyway,
what did I say? How do you say it?
It's swinamish, not squinamish.
I was making it 2 words.
A lot of elders in the Swinamish
swinamish.
tribe. Anyway, I get squeamish when it's human stuff, but if it's deer, elk, or anything else, no.
You kill everything all day.
No problem
Cut
at
it
all.
to pieces.
And what I was going to say is, so the trolls that kind of trolled you on the social medias, asking just stupid stuff, right?
It's okay.
I want to ask the our listeners and then us. Have you ever done something to affect and decrease the fat levels in your body?
Well, that's not the podcast we're doing right now.
No,
we're not yet there. We're not yet there.
Have you altered your body
Yes.
by actions that you have chosen to do?
Enough. This is a new podcast for new listeners who don't know us. Don't ruin it so early. Anyway,
Okay, all
let's
right,
get back
go
to
ahead.
the point.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do this series about breast implants and explants and what even is that and why does it matter? Because like I said, people ask me questions when they have found out that I had them. They ask me to like all the different things you can think about. So again, this is the whole point of this. So let's just start at the beginning.
Okay.
The beginning of the boobs. So like I said in I did a whole implant journey episode, but we had 3 children. I nursed them, and that does a number on the old tatas. Let me tell you.
Right.
And I wanted implants. I had wanted them before though. Like I was always really flat chested and had like tons of busty friends, and I was like, well, that's dumb. Like I had like socks in the bra.
Did you feel that I persuaded you or cajoled you into getting boobs?
No, and I said that in that episode too. It's like Seth never pressured me. It was completely my idea. And I don't, but I want to know your perspective. Like, what did you think when actually, let's rewind. What did you think after I had nursed 3 babies and had like sock tatas? Let's kind of think of as many funny terms as we can. And now I'm not trying to say that people with sock tatas are bad. I'm not saying that, but I want to know what you felt about it.
Okay.
Is a boob a boob? Like, doesn't matter?
To a degree, yeah, I think so. And I wasn't encouraging you, but when you came up with the idea, I think, and I'm just going to be super honest, I think any husband out there would be like, okay, I'm not saying that you have to, but let's look into it, right?
It was your idea. Go for it.
Hey, I'm not saying, but here's 10K.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from? It doesn't matter. Just go get them.
Hurry.
Quick. No, so I didn't have any complaints or anything like that, or secretly think differently. Like, I just wish her boobs were bigger. Oh my gosh, our sex life sucks because small boobs. No, it wasn't that whatsoever. So I remember treading very carefully of saying, okay.
I appreciate it because it was very clear that you did not want to hurt my feelings. Like you were like, I remember you saying, you do not have to do this. I do not care either way. Like, it was very much a, like, I'm okay either way. If this is something that you want, I support you. If it's something you don't want, I support that. And I really, really appreciated that.
Right. I remember, I don't know if you remember this or talked about this in your solo boobisode. I just made that up.
That's great.
Probably would get flagged on IG or something.
Boobisode. Anyway, keep on.
I remember so we were deep in the church, right? Mars Hill. And I remember calling some pastors anonymously.
Oh, funny.
Mars Hill pastors anonymously saying, hey, can I talk to you about this? Is this wrong? Is this vanity? Is this, should we alter our bodies? Should we do this? And that's just what I was thinking at the time. Again, this was probably, 12 years ago, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like 12 years ago.
11, I think.
And so I was seeking biblical counsel.
Biblical counsel?
Biblical counsel. There we go. Just now it's pun. The show's over. Everything's a pun, right?
Oh, but it's so funny.
Puns are fun. And the pastor's like, I've never thought about this or had this kind of question, but I guess it's okay. Is your wife okay with it? Are you being super weird and pressuring her into something she doesn't want to do? And of course, all those answers were the correct answers. No, she's okay with it. This was her idea. Are you going to go into monster debt with this? Is it just are the reasons that you're doing this superficial? And do you think that, once I just get a boob job, then things will be okay? Right. I have talked to tons of therapy clients, tons of just people, and is really easy to think when I just get XYZ, if you're saying anything, when we just fill in the blank, then that is a red flag that you want to think of. Wait a minute. I can be happy, content, peaceful, solid, anything without all this
if I
stuff.
Never get that thing.
Right? Like, and so many people, I mean, we're talking about a future huge move that's going to change our family. Have we ever said, man, when we just move, things will be 100% better? No, I have never taken that perspective. Now, will the weather be better? Yes. Will I know that our moods will be lifted with more sunshine? Yes. But it is not, I can't wait to get out of here, and I can't get rid of this depression, anxiety.
I can't be happy until. Yeah.
Right. So we were not saying any of that, as far as I recall, in the conversation about boobs, right?
Yeah, and it was like, if we for some reason couldn't have afforded it, I would have been like, okay, and then just done something else.
Right. So I was nervous because obviously it's a surgery. You have to go under basically a major surgery. I mean, it's not anything to do with like your organs or anything.
I was thinking about what's the defining line of a major surgery. I literally was thinking about that like 2 days ago.
I would say this. If you have to have arm surgery, nah, that's not major. Right?
Your arm is major?
No, it's not. If you have brain surgery, yes. So anything in your front, anything from the chin, no, anything from the neck above, major surgery.
I figured out the answer. Hold on.
Anything in your trunk, right? Oh, I got to have knee surgery. Okay, well, you're not going to die from that, right?
You're incorrect.
It's not an organ. Your knee is not an organ. Your patella is not a major organ in your body, right? So anything above, let's see.
Let's get to the real definition, shall we? Major surgery. A surgery to the organs of the head, chest, and abdomen. Example. You shouted in everyone's ears. Examples of major surgery include organ transplant, removal of brain tumor, removal of damaged kidney, or open heart surgery.
What did I say?
The person will need to stay in the hospital for some time.
So I was exactly right.
Shh.
That's awesome. I'm so happy about myself right now.
High five for being right about the definition.
Kidding. I'm just joking, but yeah.
Quick story.
Okay.
That reminds me of when I quizzed you when we were not even dating and we worked at Starbucks, and I said, for every like 10 or 100 degrees you go up, or 100 feet you go up in atmosphere, or whatever it was, 1,000 feet you go up in atmosphere, how many degrees does the temperature drop?
3. And
you knew it exactly. And I was so mad / marry me now. I'm impressed. Please propose. I will bear your children.
So listen to this.
When you did that, it was over.
So this is a side thing. And I was on one of my runs. This was like 2 days ago. And let's see. Full transparency. Melanie and I do marriage counseling. That means we have a marriage counselor, a marriage therapist, right? And I would really, it's been very helpful, very beneficial. And last week was really hard. It was a hard thing because we're just talking about a lot of stuff. And in this last week, I was thinking, my goal is to treat you as we were when we were dating. Like I remember your like vibrancy and all this, not saying you're not vibrant now, but just our attitudes towards one another. You used to call me T-Seth, and it was just fun. And like, there was a vibe going on, right? And sometimes after you're married for 18, 19 years, that vibe wanes and ebbs and flows and stuff like that. And I was thinking, I desire to treat you and interact with you as if we were in Maple Valley Starbucks parking lot,
Wilderness Village,
getting off of a shift that we worked together, and said, hey, let's go to Goodwill. This is when you didn't have the boyfriend after I snaked you and then moved in and that
sounded weird. He didn't move in, and snaking doesn't mean anything. That's a funny word he just said, but that whole structure of that sentence sounded real weird.
Inappropriate?
Inappropriate, okay. And it wasn't inappropriate at all.
So anyway, do you remember, here's a cute thing. Do you remember you were holding something like that? And
it was a Venti ice water. It wasn't just something.
No. I'm not talking about that.
Oh, yeah, and you popped it out of my hand.
You were holding it like that.
Okay, if you're watching,
open hand.
There are things that, like if I go to hand set something when we were dating, or not even dating, and he'd do that, and he'd smack it out of my hand and catch it.
And it was funny, and you thought it was great, and we smiled and we laughed, right? My aim is to rekindle that, to re-lead that whole kind of thing.
You're my best friend.
I know, right?
My best friend.
So that's fun. So anyway, I don't know where I was going with that story.
Boob jobs.
Okay, back to the boob jobs.
Back to boob six. Boob six. Basics, boob six.
Okay. Yeah, so it wasn't anything, yes, you have to do this or you're not unattractive. Oh, I can't, if I don't do this, then Seth won't like me. I don't have any self-esteem. None of that territory going on. It was something that you wanted to do, just like, as I was saying before, have any of our listeners decided to go on a diet and lose 10, 15, 25 pounds. Okay, you are intentionally altering your body, right? You are altering the body. For, of course, we have all lost weight because of low self-esteem or this or that, but it is something that you wanted to do. And when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, look out.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So the whole thing of like, oh, this is superficial. Does God approve of this? All that stuff is just, I'm throwing that out the window, because if you're thinking that way, you might be thinking
I have loads to
incorrectly.
say when we do our Q&A. That's going to be really exciting because I have so many thoughts about it and want to directly speak to that person who made a fake account just to say mean things.
Right, troll. So I was nervous. I remember when I dropped you off at the place, we prayed, made the surgery go well, all this stuff. And then I went to like a Starbucks or something in town, just like I did this last time with your explant kind of thing, and just did work, hung out, and while you were under, and then I came back, and I remember being really, really sad for you, thinking, what did we just do?
Right.
What is this? Obviously, because like you were swollen, your boobs were giant because of the swelling and stuff like that, right? And I was just like, oh no.
Right.
Oh, sweetheart, you know, and you're just kind of out of it, you know, like, and I felt so bad for you. I felt scared and everything. What did we do? This is foolish. Oh my gosh. One thing, what is your dad and mom going to think? You know, Seth, why did you encourage this? Why did you do this? Which is really, that's what I thought, you know, like, oh crap. But then of course drove you home, you recovered, and it was fine. And, you know, all the stuff that goes with that was great and fun and all that stuff, right? And then didn't think much of it for, you know, years. But it's like, oh, this is just normal, right? And then you started researching.
Well, no. That I don't want to skip a bunch of the middle stuff. Like I wanted sort of, because I'm hoping that we get questions from dudes about it. But I'm going to ask you a few questions just in case they don't ask them.
Okay.
But like, did you have thoughts on when I had them? Were they great? Were they bad? Were they dumb? Were they weird? Were they like any thoughts on that? Just
any thoughts?
Yeah. Like, was it fine? Did you dislike anything? Like anything?
I did not dislike them.
Does that mean you liked them?
Yes, okay. I like them.
Maybe say it like that.
Yes. This is so weird. This is like, I mean, maybe this is just culturally or just the state of stuff we're in. We're talking about your boobs and if I liked them or not after a surgery. I cannot imagine, and who cares what I'd say for the remainder of the podcast.
Who cares what I say?
Imagine, okay.
Listen, get to the point. I have to go to an actual appointment in like soon.
Okay,
so get to the point. Stop not imagining.
But just the whole context of stuff. It is just it's a thing in my brain that's hard to conceptualize. What if I, like, getting a wiener implant, it's bigger, whatever, you know, and I'm asking you, hey, what did you think about my penis? Did you like it? Did you like it because it was bigger? Like when you saw it and felt it? Is it greater to you?
Your mom's going to disown you.
Well,
after this episode.
I mean,
you
like,
made it weird.
Just humor me here.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah, it's bigger now. Yeah.
But
you know? So then what?
I get it. I mean, I hear what you're saying, man.
You know?
People ask questions.
That's not normalized. You know?
Like, objectifying males' bodies. You're right.
After you had a boob job, like, oh, everyone we know has had one. Basically. Not really, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's far more normalized than people may think.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So just a question of like, hey, what did you think of my boobs after the boob job? Well,
the only reason, I mean, I'm asking genuinely, I don't want to make the assumption that every person would be like, I think it's great. This is the best. Because some people don't like plastic surgery at all.
Right. So yes, I liked it and it was great and it was fun. I don't know if you're asking this, but I'll say it. They did feel different.
Yeah, they totally felt fake.
Obviously, because because it's a thing.
The example I used in the other episode was you could hear this sound inside my chest.
Yeah, I guess so.
You literally could.
Because they were saline, not silicone, right? Yeah. Which I think makes a difference.
Silicone is like a...
You wouldn't hear sloshy if it was silicone, right?
No, it's like a shoe insert. Like this gel pad that I'm playing.
It's like a mouse pad.
It's a mouse pad. Ooh. Cover.
Honk, honk. So anyway, they did feel different.
Yeah.
Which that's something.
Right.
You know? But as far as fun or aesthetic looks, they were awesome. They were great. And that does not mean, oh great, I had big boobs now, I got an explant now, they're not fun and great. Right. I am super excited. Honestly, you know, and it's been, I don't know, 2 weeks post surgery, so you're still healing. At the time of this episode, 2 weeks. 2 weeks
and like
a little
15,
change.
No. 16, 17 days, something like that.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks.
And I've had a cold the whole time, except for
and you're still healing and stuff, so there's all of that. But I am, I don't know, it sounds weird. Looking forward?
To what?
To it? What do you mean to what?
What are you looking forward to? Share your story with our friends.
See, what if this, like, you're looking forward to my, like, wiener explant. I'm looking forward to your new, so silly. It doesn't make sense.
I'm glad that you're the one saying that. I just think it's kind of funny, but I think it's great that it's you saying that.
Right.
But I'm actually super excited about it too. I wasn't like I mentioned, again, I talk about the whole journey, all my thoughts and feelings in a different episode.
I'm excited to listen to it.
And just be ready because I talk about like stitches and stuff. So you'll immediately pass out. Seth doesn't pass out. I'm just being silly. But
I just get white as a ghost
just
and
turn as white as I am and then get sad because you're as white as I am. Oh my gosh, I look like Melanie.
I'm transparent.
I'm reflecting the sun. But so one thing that I would be curious to know your thoughts on is that and I mentioned this in the other episode, is that I never felt really natural after I had them. Again,
Really?
They were way too big for my body. Like even my doctor was like, that's the wrong shape and size for you. He's like, you're little. You're not like tall and wide. Like you needed smaller, everything just needed to be smaller. And so I never felt really natural. And then I never, ever, 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 ever showed them off ever. Because I was like, well, that's weird. And I didn't like how it made people look at me.
Were you self-conscious of them after you got them?
Yeah. I think at the very beginning for sure.
Like,
but then
they know that I got a boob job. Great.
Yeah. And then I gained weight on purpose to like counter it. Yeah. Like last year I gained weight on purpose because I was like, I do not like when I get really skinny and fit because I was doing Pilates all the time. And I was like, this looks stupid. I look like a Barbie doll in Pilates. I feel like a ding dong. Like I'm stick thin and then like these two giant, like you just took two coconuts and went, and they didn't they really just look like two coconuts. And so I was like, I feel dumb. I will gain weight to see if I like how I feel. And it helped a little bit because it changed the shape of my body, but then I really didn't like feeling heavy at all. Like just the feeling of extra weight on my body. I was like, well, that does not feel delightful to me.
Right.
So that was weird. It was just like a body experiment. Like I think it's fun that I did it. It doesn't bother me and I'm not disappointed or whatever, but I just never felt really, really beautiful in them. I never felt like, oh yeah, this is great. I love this. I was just like, ooh, I don't know, hide them. So
do you think it had the opposite effect of?
No, I don't. I didn't dislike them. I just didn't think I would feel so self-conscious, so aware of them is the way that I looked at it. I just didn't think they would be as big and sort of like forward facing. I just was like, whoa. So I'm excited though.
Right.
For like the healing to be done and all of that stuff. And again, because now I've already lost weight, which is weird, which they say happens because you're like fighting an inflammatory thing in your body. So I've already lost like 7 pounds, which is crazy. Doing nothing. Yeah. Like it's crazy because your body is just trying to like fight this thing and it's just holding weight. And a ton of people say that. And I totally agree with it. So I already have lost weight. Like it's just wild, but I'm excited.
Want to lose weight? Get a boob job, then get an explant job, and you lose weight.
It'll work like that. But what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else.
Okay,
I'm
so
very
now,
aware of time.
so I'm going to fast forward to a little bit, right? Okay, you had, your boobs. That's fine, and then one started leaking, right?
Right. I will tell that story really quickly. So I got totally used to them, did 75 hard with them, like swam, did everything. They bothered me, but not that much, right? I didn't love how they felt, but I didn't hate how they felt. And then when I went to the day I found out that my breast implant had ruptured, was the day that I was buttoning my jacket to go do Rusty's funeral. And I was like, what is happening? Like one of my boobs is smaller. I don't know what's going on. This is weird, but I can't even think about it. And then I figured it out. I was like, oh, clearly this is leaking. I don't know what you do about it. It's also saline, so it's not like a terrible
Saltwater,
thing.
Basically. Right.
But immediately I started feeling bad. But also, mind you, my brother had just died and we all got COVID. So we're like, what is it that I'm feeling bad from? Is it the explant or is it the implant leaking? Is it the COVID? Is it grief? Is it
everything?
Whatever, right? And so I didn't connect the dots that my feeling sick, like I would see stars. I had to stop going to Pilates. You remember that? I just like stopped doing everything for an entire freaking year. And then kind of a funny story, but my left breast started to deflate. And then I was like, oh, well, it's not that bad. Like I'll just it's not that bad. I'll just keep it that way because it's not a huge difference. And then Hattie hugged me one day and squished it flat. And I was like, ugh! Like, because she hugs so hard. You know, she'll do
Right,
that. She'll like
yeah.
hug you as hard as she can and like shake while she's doing it.
Isn't that weird? Like, just the whole idea of that. Somebody squeezed me. Now something that I have in my body shot out liquid
into my body.
Now my body has to figure out what to do with excess saline just in your chest.
And what they say too is that the shell, the thing that like the bubble of the implant, you know, the shell of it has the chemicals in it. That's the problem. So the saline is not a big deal, but yeah, the whole thing, it's like a plastic bag.
Yeah.
They put a Ziploc in there. Man. And then it's doing this. Sloshing water around.
I would not like that.
It felt really gross.
My body.
Yeah, it didn't feel good. So, but that was, it's kind of a funny story. Like Hattie just went and it squished it flat. And I was like, you little turd.
There she goes.
I know, yes.
Right. Okay.
But so that started the journey of trying to figure out what was wrong. But I was sick for so long. I want to know your thoughts on that. I really have to leave soon. We might have to.
What time you got to go?
I need to be there at 10:15.
What? You need to leave now.
I've got 3 minutes. But what were your thoughts on
3 minutes?
The like my sickness? Do you believe that I was sick?
Well, yeah, I can't not believe. You know, if you say you're sick, you're sick.
What was your experience of it?
Kind of low energy. You had low energy, and I think that with any of us, our mind and body are not disconnected. They are highly interconnected. And with you, if you feel bad, then your mood, your energy, your presence, your countenance just goes down anyway. And I'll be honest, for both of us, we don't need any more of that, right? Like from having past anxiety and some depressive stuff, and then being in Washington where it's gray and whatever. We don't need anything else to help us be depressed or anxious. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if the implants are making you sick, you don't need that because there's enough stuff out here externally that you are fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
I noticed it. I mean, I don't know how you felt. Like, oh, are you queasy all the time? I don't know. You just have low energy. You body aches or anything like that. And you didn't outwardly complain of that stuff, but especially after you had COVID, you're like, hey, I can't run, I can't, you stopped Pilates and all that stuff,
which was a really big deal because I did Pilates like legitimately almost every single day for like a year,
and you loved it.
I really loved it. I would do 2 classes in a row. Like it is the best, which I cannot wait to get back into it. I have like 4 more weeks I think that I have to wait, but yeah, I think so. What I want to do is we're gonna push pause, but we're gonna be back in like 1 second, and we're gonna finish this conversation because there's a lot more about that season that I want to talk about. But I have to go to my appointment to see my doctor.
All right, perfect.
He might take my bandages off, which makes me want to cry.
Why will it hurt?
It's just scary and weird.
Yeah.
Okay. See you in a second. Bye.
See ya.
Okay, we're back.
Back to the boobs, right?
To the boob 6.
You just had an appointment to go to for a follow-up for your explant. So
it was delightful. I talked to Dr. Hutter about Australian Shepherd puppies, and
there you have it.
Really good.
Boobs and puppies. What's better?
Nothing.
I don't know. Okay, so I don't remember exactly where we
were talking about sickness, what it was like seeing me be sick for a year, and what your thoughts are on it. Just low energy, spurts of enthusiasm, crazy mood swings. No, just kidding. Mood swings.
I didn't mean to say mood.
But I did not have mood swings.
Right. So I am looking forward to, and you did a lot of research on breast implant illness, and there's thousands of ladies who say, yeah, I just felt same as you felt. Low energy, fatigue, stuff like that. Correct? So I am excited to have you back, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, let's run. Let's go on a hike. Let's ride bikes. Let's do Pilates. Well, you do Pilates, not me.
You should do Pilates.
Do stuff,
It would open your hips.
Well, as long as you do it, I'm good.
I don't know what that. I don't know
Open your hips.
Is it? I don't know.
Sex.
Ew. Maybe don't make everything that.
You always say that. You say make everything, and I make one thing like once a year, and you're like, see, everything is everything.
Well, you did it. It wasn't me. It was you.
Okay,
One thing
so-
I wanted to say though was like, which I don't remember if I talked about this in the other episode that I did with the full journey, but like we went on we did surfing lessons last summer. And I remember being like so bummed out because I had so much fatigue. I went and did the surfing lesson. I was able to do it, but I literally never could even stand up on the board. And it wasn't a skill thing. It was an energy thing.
Really? You were gassed.
Yeah,
Like,
it
you
was
just
so
were
freaking
zapped.
hard. Like
Yeah.
and that's how I felt. I was saying, again, I said this in the other episode, but like even going up the stairs was like my muscles would all burn. And I don't know why. And I was asking people like, if you've experienced the same thing with implants in where it's like just extreme fatigue and like that, what is it? Like lactic acid.
Lactic acid buildup.
Like I would have it immediately. Like I couldn't do anything.
Weird.
And it was so awful. Like you would just be trying to do, pull a branch from a windstorm and you're just like, your whole body is like burning with lactic acid as if you've just done like 50 squats or something.
Right.
But it would happen immediately. And so it was that for like, it was way worse in the last, I would say 4 months. It was hard the whole time, but the last 4 months felt like I can't do anything. Like everything felt like you just had like concrete in your legs and you were just exhausted all the time as if you had, built a house the day before.
Or just ran a marathon or just got home from the gym or something
Yeah,
like that.
but you hadn't done anything.
Man.
And so it was just really awful. And I felt it was hard too because there was no way to show people how I felt. And so I just felt like a slug. I said a slug on top of a slug on top of a slug in my last episode. I'm holding in my hands 2 photos.
Oh boy.
But that was just something that I wanted to, I just sort of wanted to get your take on and what your thoughts were on it.
So tying this back to I guess marriage, how open are we to talking about it? How do we problem solve this? If you're feeling a certain way, let's strategize. And we came up with, it's the implants. So let's do what we have to do to make this happen, to get you back on track. And of course, nobody's weird about it or anything. And it's just, okay, let's do this. This gets us closer to how we want to live, biopsychosocial, spiritually, all that stuff, right? So I'm excited about getting that literal foreign object out of your body recuperating, healing, and then even being better, than ever before. Like I say this all the time to my men's group, bettishusband.com. I am 45, right? But I swear and I promise you that I feel like I'm 28. I mean, I just did I've done 5Ks for the last almost month, like a 5K every day. Every morning, right? Just, hey, let's run 3.1 miles. Okay. And this morning I ran, all 3 miles were less than, were 8-minute miles, right? And that's fast, right? My fastest is 6 something, but, that's how I feel, right? And I want you're going to turn 40 this year, which is awesome and amazing. I want you to feel like you're 28 too.
How old was Indiana Jones when he went on his adventures? Because that's how old I want to feel.
I don't know. Probably like 69 or something.
No. His original adventures.
I don't know. It's probably 40.
I can Google it.
Probably 39 going
I
on
say
40,
that
just
because
like
there's
you.
a new Indiana Jones
there
movie
is.
coming out.
Okay, so
And I have my Indiana Jones jacket on.
There you have it, folks. So getting back to what the heck does this even, relate to marriage? How do we tie it into? But the decision for Melanie to get a boob job was first hers and then ours, right? Okay, great, awesome, fun. And then the decision to get an explant boob job, first of all, again, was hers. And I fully supported that. And now we are working towards other things, right? Optimal health, even though we're, 45 and 40. Let's feel and act like we're 28. Physically, mentally.
Why would you say even though? As if it should, like people who are normally 45 and 40 shouldn't work towards optimal health. Like, well, they're halfway dead. ugh.
I don't know.
The way you said that was funny. I do want to say too, I know I mentioned this in the other episode, but I had an explant surgery on the 4th of April and also a lift. So I had an explant and a partial, I think he called it a partial mastopexy, something like a boob lift. And so that was, I'm just sharing that because people will ask and they would like to know. Again, my implants were also subglandular postmuscular saline implants.
Postmuscular, after the muscle?
On top of
the pectoral
muscle. And so that's something to just note. But also, I want to say that I have people reach out to me when they find out that I've explanted. And it's typically other people who have explanted and they're like so excited. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you did it. Oh, I didn't even know you had implants. Like you're going to feel so amazing, blah, blah, blah. And it's really, really cool.
That's encouraging.
Yeah. And then one of the ladies who reached out, which I might see if I can get her on the show. She is a hoot. I really, really like her. She's in my mastermind in California, but she shared a story with me just briefly that her husband was like furious when she got hers out. And she said they made her so sick. And also, just as a side note, that, and this could be incorrect. So I don't want to be spreading incorrect information, but I don't know that it's incorrect. She said that when she went in for surgery, they made her implants larger than what she had asked for. And that the larger you make them, the more money you make from them. And she was like, she said when she got her implants, she just cried and cried and cried. And I think she had them for like 5 years. She's like, I felt terrible with them. I started to get sick and all of this stuff. But her husband, she said he was so mean to her for like, I think 6 months after she got them out. And he actually doesn't even like to talk about it because he can't believe how mean he was to her.
No, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to
At
kind
least
of...
he realizes that.
Yeah. And so that's partially why I was like, man, it would be really cool to have them on, or maybe her. I don't know if he's comfortable talking about it because this is a big deal to people. And like, I don't know, there's a lot that goes into people's expectations of what it's going to be like. And then it, sometimes isn't at all what they think it's going to be like. And that is an impactful thing for a marriage. It's also financially impactful. It costs a lot of money. And there's just a lot of factors to it that I wanted to offer this conversation in the podcast format so that couples who had thoughts, concerns, questions, desires, whatever, could just talk about it. And they could say, that's Seth and Melanie's story, and maybe this is that other person's story, and this is how I feel. How do you feel? No, I don't like this. Yes, I do like that. Like, just to offer a place to talk about it and learn a little bit more. And again, because I looked up so many like breast implant illness, because I for sure thought I didn't have that. And even my doctor was like, it's kind of, like, it can be a thing, but it's not a thing for every person. And I agree, because mine didn't bother me until they ruptured.
Right.
It wasn't a problem. I did Pilates and yoga and I did everything, but then one ruptured and then I got sick. So it's really tricky when like breast implant illness is out there and you don't know if it's real, and there's lots of resources, but are they good? Are they bad? Are they whatever? But I could not find any that were relational resources. Like, how did it impact a marriage?
Interesting.
Was it good? Was it bad? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Like, whatever. And so, I don't know. That's, again, the heart behind the reason to share this was not any weird, like, I want to talk about my boobs. It really just like, I want there to be information. I want the resources out there that I couldn't find.
Hello. Why the whole podcast is a thing. We create the resources that we wish we had.
I do. You just are here for the ride.
Nice try. And
I predominantly create the resources.
Anyway, sharing our story. I'm glad you got the implants. They were fun. You're everything and all that stuff, physically fun and whatnot. And I am sorry that you got sick from them. I really, really heartfeltly, I felt bad about that. Like, oh man, dang it. You know what I'm saying? Dang it. And part of me,
you should have said something. Wow.
What do you mean?
You could have said that to me when I was sick.
I'm saying it right now.
Helpful. Not at all helpful.
Nice try.
You could have said it in real time. Someone emailed me about being mean to you.
Well, I think that sometimes women and men do that. Oh, you should have changed 6 months ago, right? So.
Well, you could have said something. I didn't know you even thought anything about it.
Or maybe I didn't think about it until just now.
So you actually didn't think anything about it until now.
Nice try.
Nice try.
No, I'm serious. This can help couples, and don't weaponize this. But women, probably more so than guys, if your husband has improved or picks up something or acknowledges something or says something, don't you dare come at them sideways in a way. Don't do it, because it's like, oh, well, say we hadn't had sex for 6 months, right? And you say, hey, man, I'm sorry we hadn't had sex, and let's have sex tonight. I'd be like, well, finally saying something now? Oh, okay. Blah.
Is that what I just did?
No, you didn't. But some people do that.
Okay.
And that doesn't get you more of what you want, right? So I'm sure that I said, hey, I'm sorry that you feel bad, to a degree. But I did feel like, oh, man, I partially felt responsible for you getting the boobs in the first place, which I know that's not the case. But if I would have said, hey, don't do this. It's not healthy. You don't have to. I don't want you to. Let's don't do it. Maybe that would have persuaded you not to. But we were still in agreement in the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So feeling sad for you that you felt bad. And then also, what was I going to say? Looking forward to the back to natural you kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really looking forward to it.
Why?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell all of our friends why?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
What?
I don't know. They will feel different. I'm glad you got the lift as well, so like cosmetically, aesthetically, it's just like, okay, this is natural, and I can't wait until they're all healed up.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it can be I have a lot of thoughts about it, actually, and they're all...
Share more.
Let's see. Okay. Let me see about this. Well, I'd have to maybe get them like written down or something like that. But like the natural parts, I'm excited about. Know that sound when we're doing stuff, and everything. Which of course wasn't a big deal, but it was like, oh wait, okay, that's something. So yeah, I get to enjoy the natural you.
All right.
And have you feel good, which is more important than me enjoying your body, of course. Like I'm excited to go on bike rides, to go rock climbing, to go on hikes, to, maybe you and I can even start jogging together or something like that, like on the trail, like at the river or something like that. I think it will be great overall, and I'm glad that have been on the same page this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
That feels good too. When you and your husband, you and your wife are on the same page, a lot of other stuff goes smoothly. There's all kinds of literature, scientific literature, not just Google, searches, but like actual data research that says when you have a high level of marital satisfaction, everything else in your life, you make more money, you actually live longer, which is crazy to me. I
want to say by like 7 years. It's like a lot.
It's statistically significant.
Yeah.
To speak in those terms, it makes a real difference, right? And because you and I are on the same page with most things, and on the things that we aren't on the same page, we have the ability to talk about them. And okay, let's table this to go talk to our therapist or coach or whatever. Speaking of coaching, high performance marriage coaching, I was going to say click here. I think I'm doing an Instagram ad, but that's not it. Yeah, go to anatomyofus.com/coaching to get more information. I want to see those appointments full because it'll change your life. We have the ability to talk differently about it, and that's pretty cool. That didn't just happen. We did a lot of work in order for us to do that. But I appreciate you being open. I mean, it's your body. You're talking about your body and the stuff that has happened to it, in hopes of helping other women and men normalize this conversation. And guys, if I'm sure we have zillions of listeners who the wives have had boob jobs before. Maybe they're kind of tired of them. Maybe they love them still. Okay, great, fine. But if you are feeling sick or something, guys, listen to your wife and don't be a D-bag and be like, oh, well, what am I going to do? Now your boobs are small or whatever. It's like, come on, seriously, come on.
Right. I want to ask you your thoughts on like, what would you tell a couple who is considering that getting implants?
Go for it, but be on the same page and don't.
But wait, hold on. Factor in implants are a 10-year device. If you get implants, just because they don't rupture, you're supposed to have them removed every 10 years and swapped out. Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me that.
So it's don't just say go for it.
Right.
Let's educate more before we say that.
Okay. Make sure that you're on the same page with one another. If a husband is kind of coercing their wife to do this, then I would strongly reconsider that. It's your wife's choice, just not your choice, And partially, your wife is probably, this might sound weird, but probably doing it partially for you too. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm wrong in that?
No, you're absolutely correct in that.
Right.
I don't know why you would say partially that your wife is doing this for you. I think most wives feel almost, I know some people are popping into my head who, if they hear this sentence, they're going to be like, you're an idiot, Melanie. But some wives, and a lot of wives that I know, will feel sort of responsible because they're like, well, I had these kids and now I have these socks for boobs and I don't want empty tube sock boobs. And I would love to, and I'm worried that if I look this way, my husband won't be attracted to me. So I know that there's a thing I can do about this. So I think a lot of women feel more responsible, not every woman. So if you're the woman who this doesn't apply to, don't get mad at me, please. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the person who does feel responsible and does want to be like that for her husband. So don't come at me, sis.
Yeah, sis. So what was I saying in that? Be on the same page, understand the whole landscape of it, right? Like you said, it's a 10-year, it's a decade commitment, decade on decade on decade, right? And in our case, you had them 10 years, got them out, basically. And that was the
almost exactly.
Right. So that was the right move for you, your body, and we were in agreement with all that. So is it a moral thing? I don't think so. I was thinking that 10 years ago, like when we talked to the pastors and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, is this vanity? What do we do? Kind of thing. But I've matured since then and can easily say, no, it's just something.
Right. I think it would be different. And this is the thing that with the questions that people asked us, and again, we'll answer those on an episode only about that. But it's like, it would be a moral issue, I think, if I was like showing them to everyone. If every post on our Instagram was like tatas and like, hey, just didn't, like, I'm not going to call someone out, but what's her name? Amanda Francis.
Oh
my gosh. Put your shirt on. We get it. You have boobs. Put your shirt on. I love your money
followers.
Advice, but put your blouse back on.
Right.
Lady, it's okay. We will still listen to your advice without your breasts all over it. I just find that so odd, but
I do like her though.
I do like her a lot.
Her books and stuff.
Yeah,
and her mindset.
That's the thing that sucks about it. I'm like, could you just stop? Like, I don't know. And I also think it's, well, I don't want to say anything unkind, but I just think it's weird. But that's the only way that I could be like, oh, this is a moral problem, is that Melanie can't stop showing them to everybody. It's
right.
Like
and clearly, and obviously in every single degree, you were not doing it for
anybody else.
Yeah. It was for me and for you. No one else. So you weren't trying to garner extra male attention in any way, shape, or form. That's just not who you are whatsoever. Maybe it was who you were a long time ago. Like we've had talks about that, but not since we've been married, of course, right? Or even before we were married, right? So yes, so a couple of check factors. Okay, do you think the grass is greener? Do you think, oh, I'll get these boobs and I will fill in the blank, something that I don't have now?
Cup.
Yeah, fill in the bra size cup. You'll definitely fill it out, that's for sure. Are you on the same page with your spouse on this? Are you doing it to fulfill some hole in your life that you have not fixed with therapy, that you have not fixed with God, that you have not fixed with coaching? Because then you get into a slippery slope and it won't make you happy. I promise you.
Slippery,
I promise you.
Slopey.
Slippery, slopey. Those are the wrong reasons. So
Yeah.
if you can check the box and confidently say with your spouse, we are doing this for this, and this. And, maybe I just want to.
Right.
And I don't take that sideways. Whoa, do what you want. You know, Paul says everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial.
Paul Vetter?
Nope, not Paul Vetter. He says way worse things. I'm just kidding. With more cuss words. No, love
That's
you,
a very
Paul.
funny thought.
So
Can I say one thing, or were you going to say something?
no, go ahead.
I think the one thing that I as I'm sitting here thinking about, if I were a laity in this position, like questioning it, saying, do I want these? Do I not? And I hadn't had them yet. The thing that would, I think, put me over the edge now, though, so this could be not helpful, but what kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to look good
What do you mean put you over the edge of
like
what?
of getting it or not?
Oh, I see.
So I didn't think about that because there wasn't a ton of resources that I could find 10 years ago of people sharing what it felt like to have them, right? And I'm sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I'm getting over 2 colds. But I wish that someone had said, like, simple things will feel weird. Like surfing, Pilates will always feel weird. Yoga on your chest and on your stomach will always feel weird. Like, it will always feel like you have Ziploc bags full of water inside of your body, which feels really terrible. Like laying on water balloons. Like
a tanker truck that stops short and all the water sloshes.
Yes, actually. And it really does.
That's a clip.
I mean, huh? What is so funny? What do you cracked yourself up?
After you got your implants, when you ran, it took you longer to stop.
Yep. That's accurate. But that I wish that I'd have known that, like, it would get in the way of things like rock climbing and surfing and being really athletic, because I want to be more athletic. And so it was a real bummer when I realized, like, this is actually making it harder for me to do the things that I want to do and feel free in my body and have full range of motion. It literally stopped my range of motion in my arms, my upper arms. Like, I couldn't put them as far back because of the skin just tightening.
Oh, wow.
Which is terrible. It's a terrible sensation. So think about that. And like, it's not natural. And again, I'm not against them. Obviously I had them and I wouldn't have gotten them out if they hadn't have ruptured because I wasn't sick. But I also think that ask yourself how you want to live. Like, if it's just looking good for one picture, you Photoshop those ladies in there, just add some spaces. I don't know, but you don't need to carve up your whole business for all of that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing this in hopes that it helps other women process it to, not or do or don't. And then the explant conversation,
not doodle.
like getting a surgery and an explant is not just a small decision. I think that we talked about it for months and months and months, if not a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know. I thought about it for a really long time and did try to like weigh the pros and cons. And I think I said in the other episode, I don't regret it. Like, I don't regret it. I just didn't think that it would make you sick. So that is the regret that I had, is that I had one rupture and it made me sick. So, I mean, I don't regret that. I couldn't have changed it, but, I don't know. I think it's helpful to be informed and to have these conversations. If you want to have more conversations like this, you should join Women's Group Coaching. We talk about this stuff. We help women decide what they want to do with all of their life choices. You can go to womensgroupcoaching.com and sign up today to join our amazing groups of ladies.
Right. And you're the 5 people you hang out with the most. And when you go to badasshusband.com,
nope, womensgroupcoaching.com.
go to both. Husbands join mine, women join hers. We have these conversations because we are all focused on growth, discipline, accountability. How can we be at the top of our game so we can serve our ladies at the top of their game, and then, of course, serve our family at the top of their game? And I had calls this week, and the calls were amazing. Like, we are getting into deep stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the comments that the guys are saying, and guess what? The comments that the women of the husbands who are in this group and not even in your group and don't even listen to the show sometimes are like, I have seen growth in you. So whatever you're doing, keep it up. You're changing. I mean, who wouldn't want comments like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's a growth mindset group that turns into like lifelong, really close friends. It's amazing. You join our groups. They're absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope that this has been a helpful episode. If you have any more questions about it, send it in to hello@anatomyofus.com, I think. I don't know.
That's right.
And thank you for being a listener. Share this show. If it's helpful to you, share it with your friends.
Or to other ladies who have boob implants, share this show.
Do it.
Do it.
Do
All right, guys.
it. Do it. Do it. Okay.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Later, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Anatomy of Us. This podcast is produced by my mom, Melanie Studley, and hosted by my dad, Seth Studley. Our show is edited and published by our producer, Reva Hansen, from Creative Media Support. Special thanks to our Patreon members that get an extra episode every week. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.